I watched Return to Silent Hill and it was so disappointing. I was very depressed. I saw that it had potential. And the director did Silent Hill 1, the one on in 2006, and I thought that was pretty good for what it was. But this movie, man, it's so disappointing. It deserved the bad reviews. Like it started with a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. It finally went up to like 16, 17%, but the audience score is still bad. I think it was in the 30s. Yeah, they were right. This was not good. I don't think any people who never played the game would even like this movie because it can be way too confusing, and even for fans of the games, I don't think they'll like it either because they made so many changes to the story and the characters. If you like references and if you want to see the cool creature design and set design, you might like it. But I feel like this did a bastardization of Silent Hill 2. It's like some fan fiction and it did not work. I don't understand why they don't have the dialogue from the game. They don't have the characterizations from the game. Like, Angela's not Angela, Eddie is not Eddie, Laura's not Laura, Maria is not Maria, Mary can be married to some extent. James is the only one that's fine, but he's not the James that we know from the original game or the remake. So I don't get the changes. Like, why you had to do it this way? Is this? I feel like the creators of this movie kind of knew they know the aesthetics of Silent Hill 2. They got the set design down. They got the buildings. They got the environments. They got the creature design for the most part. There's a couple creatures that looked a little off. But honestly, the makeup and everything else, and of course they got the music composer back. So the music was good because it's the same music we know from the Silent Hill 2. So yeah, they got the visuals right for the most part, but the story sucked. Oh, man. And I can understand some people will say that the visuals are not good, and I can understand that because some of the CGI was definitely wonky, but I assume that's because they didn't have that much of a budget. So that's why it doesn't look right. Like, if the environments or the creatures are by themselves with no live action elements, it can look pretty good. But the thing is that every time you put in like James, you can definitely tell he's in front of a green screen, and you can tell that he's real, and everything around him is not. Like, there's a complete difference. This is not Avatar quality or anything like that. It's like he's in front of a TV screen that's playing the remake of Silent Hill 2. That's what it feels like at times, which is a shame because there are some very gorgeous shots in here, some beautiful imagery, but unfortunately it's just let down by the terrible characters and the terrible script. So I'm definitely going to go into spoilers because I have to talk about the changes. But if you did play Silent Hill 2, the original or the remake, I don't think you're going to like this movie. If you never played the games, I don't think you're going to like this movie either. Like, it's so hard to recommend this, and I really want to. I really do. But man, this was just a giant letdown. Is this better than Silent Hill Revelations? Yes, it is. It is better. But the problem is that Silent Hill Revelations was just shitty, but I can see why people would have fun with it because it's one of those so bad it's good movies. Like, you can find entertainment in those kind. Here, it's just a very disappointing movie, and I'm not sure if people want to go back to this. So I took my girlfriend out to see this, and it's her very first horror movie in theaters, and I took her to see this, and I'm still upset by that. I want to take her because she watched me play Silent Hill 2, the remake, and she does like the story, and I felt out of everyone else I know, I felt like she and I would be connected with this. Because she knows that story. But even she was disappointed by this, and I'm so sorry for taking her with me, but at the same time, I'm glad she was with me so I could actually talk about this with someone. So, yeah, I know, first horror movie to see in theaters, and I took her to see Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill. She did see Weapons recently, and she did see Sinners, so at least that's good. And we're working through The Shining, Doctor Sleep, and The Substance. So yeah, I'm gonna go into spoilers for now. So last thing I'm gonna say is visuals can be great, can be beautiful. Characters are done terribly. The story is done terribly. It's like terrible fan fiction to me. But hopefully some of you guys will like this movie, like appreciate the good things. All right, so spoilers. The flashbacks screwed the... I hate the flashbacks, most of them anyway. So it opens with James driving recklessly, and it's a bright sunny day, and he's around, he was driving to the area where we see in the beginning of Silent Hill 2, where they have like the rest area with the bathroom and also the view of Silent Hill 2. Yeah, he ends up driving over there, but he almost crashes into a bus. And so he swerved out of the way, and he hit a couple of suitcases. And those suitcases actually belong to Mary. So this is where James and Mary first meet. So at the time, Mary was about to catch a bus, and James was upset, so he wanted to help her out, but one of the suitcases, the latch was broken, so it can't fully close. So she was about to get on the bus, and the bus was honking at her. The bus driver was honking at her to get on the bus, but James was trying to rush to help her, and then the suitcases broke apart. So she told them, okay, fine, you can move along, I'll get the next one. So James felt bad about it, and she asked him, I'm going to the city, where are you going? So he's actually going towards Silent Hill, and she decided to stick with him. And then that's when the flashback ends, and then we get to a bar. So yeah, this movie doesn't start off the same way the game did. And it took a little bit of time just to get there. I think the movie took like about 10 to 15 minutes just to get to the beginning of the actual game. So they added this new stuff with the flashback with him meeting Mary. And I was kind of fine with that. I'm like, okay, you want to show us what Mary is like before her eventual disease? I can understand that. But then we saw him in the bar getting drunk, and he caused some... he caused a little commotion, and he was fighting with other guys, and he made a waitress drop some glasses and stuff like that, so they threw him out. And it kind of reminded me of the scene from Avatar where Jake Sully was fighting another guy who was hitting on a woman, and they threw him out and the wheelchair and everything outside of the bar. It really reminded me of that a lot. Hell, actually, now that I think about it, James looks like Jake Sully with the long hair and everything too, with a little bit of stubble. So yeah, it reminded me of that scene a lot. And then it turned out that James has been seeing a psychiatrist. Again, not in the game as far as I can remember. So he's been talking with the psychiatrist, and she's wondering how's it going, and he cannot miss his next appointment, which happens the next day. So he goes back home to his apartment, and again, I'm not sure if the game actually talked about this. Maybe it was in the background and I didn't fully pay attention. I apologize. But apparently he's a painter, and he's been painting a lot of portraits of Mary, and he's drunk, he's upset, and all of a sudden he notices a letter from Mary. So that's where he finds out about the letter, and it looks like someone slipped it under the door, and it was on the floor for him to find. So he opens up, reads it, and then he immediately goes to Silent Hill that night. I assume it's close by because they don't show a passage of time or something like that. They didn't show him like, okay, immediately going out. It's already raining, so he went out of his apartment, get in his car, and then he immediately drove over there. Again, I don't know exactly how far this is from Silent Hill. Maybe it is very close by. I don't know. So he gets to the same rest area that he almost crashed into the truck. And then that's when the beginning of the game happens. He is in the restroom. He tried using the sink, and then he sees himself in the mirror and touches his face. Which honestly, I felt like, why didn't you just start the movie here? We didn't need to know about the psychiatrist. Again, I can excuse the beginning flashback with him meeting Mary, but I felt like it kind of ruined the moment because in the game, you don't really see Mary until like the finale of the game. You hear her voice sometimes, but you don't actually see her. And it's when you finally see her, that's where it impacts you. I think the only thing you could mostly see is just a picture of her. You have the picture of her. Well, you could choose to look at the picture if you want to. If you don't, then you get the Maria ending. If you do some, task and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, why didn't you just start it here? We didn't need. Okay, I'll explain why the flashback is kind of ruined this movie. So then James monologues, and then he goes down the stairs. He goes through the woods, and it does remind me so much of Silent Hill 2 remake. Now you could say, oh, isn't it the same thing as the original? Well, I did play the remake very recently, and the remake just looks prettier and cleaner to me anyway. I am spoiled by next-gen graphics and all that stuff, so that's what I'll keep referencing. So, but yeah, he goes through the forest, and then he eventually goes into town. Well, before he goes into town, he encounters Angela. Angela was done dirty, man. Like, what the fuck have you done with Angela? So she looks horrible here. She looks like she has like pale makeup that's like leaking out of her face, and she has this black hair. It's like she was trying to look like a Tim Burton character. I don't know why you make Angela look like this. Like, she's supposed to look like a normal girl, which was the point. She was a normal girl who got raped by her father, and then that traumatized her for the rest of her life. But here, she looks like a witch! With her messed up hair, her terrible makeup face, and the really terrible clothes she's wearing. She honestly looks like she just survived a bombing. So I don't know what's with the intent. Actually, that's my problem with almost every single character besides Maria in this movie, that every single character looks dirty. James looks like a hobo. I don't know why, but he looks like a hobo in this. Eddie looks like a hobo in this. Laura looks like she's been sleeping in a cardboard box the entire time. So, and Angela looks like this. Like, why? Are you trying to make it realistic? I don't understand that. And Eddie doesn't look like Eddie. He's not even wearing the same clothes. He's all like, he has a full-on beard and messed up long hair and stuff like that. He does not look like Eddie. Okay, so he meets up with Angela, and the first thing Angela does is tell him to bring a sandbag. And it turns out she's been moving these sandbags like to fill up the beach so the water doesn't overflow from the lake? Why is she doing this? I know the movie explained it, but the game, she didn't do that. She didn't do that in the game. In the game, she was at the cemetery. She was looking for her mom's grave. That's what she was doing the entire time. Like, she wants her mama. Like, what the hell? And the dialogue here, my God, is awful too. It feels so unnatural. I understand in the game, like, the dialogue sometimes feel unnatural too, like a dreamlike, childlike, and all that. But here, it's just so awkward. Like, it's cringy. So when Angela was talking about James, like she talked about, oh, grab a sandbag. Okay, so the reason why we're putting these sandbags is because of the ash coming from the fire or something like that, and then the water, it'll contaminate the water and everything. So we can't have that. Oh, by the way, my name is Angela. So yeah, the way people introduce themselves is just so awkward. So that's how Angela introduced herself, I'm sorry. And then James was like, okay, see you later then. So he goes into Silent Hill, and the environments do look pretty. Again, every time James, like, if it shows James, it looks like he's in front of a green screen. It really does. Like the lighting doesn't fully match, and also the shadows on his body doesn't fully match the environment. And if you look at the environment itself, there's so many details and everything. It looks pretty. It looks really well done. But the problem is that because he's a real person, it honestly looks like they put him in front of a screenshot or a video footage of Silent Hill 2 remake. That's what it seems like. So that's why I think a lot of people are going to say the effects are shitty, even though it really isn't. They did a good job. It just, they needed more time. They needed more money. And all those people who say AI could have done it better, fuck you. I'm sorry. I just hate the people who are keep saying like, oh, AI could have made this movie better. Nah, fuck you, man. I'm sorry. But that's no excuse for using AI. But yeah, the environments do look great for what they are. And then he eventually goes into like this tiny tunnel where he hears the radio causing static and everything. So at the time, I don't know what these creatures are called. The one that's like a giant humanoid blob where they have no arms. It looks like their arms are like twisted inside their bodies, and they have a giant hole that spews up acid. And they get close to you and all that stuff. I forgot what those are called. I know about the mannequins, and I'll get to that mannequin. But yeah, I forgot what these creatures are called. But they look cool. But the weird thing is that I thought this encounter was going to be that creature, and it wasn't. So what it was, so he hears the radio, there's static, he hears something behind him, and I thought it was going to be a jump scare with the creature, but no. There was a homeless guy. I don't know why. Wasn't in the game. And I don't know how he survived this. Like, is this still part of James' imagination? Is he imagining this dude? Is this dude a real dude? Like, again, it didn't happen in the game, so why do we have this homeless guy here? And apparently he survived this whole time, running away from these creatures, even though he's sleeping out in the open. It's not like there's a fence blocking him or something, or he's in disguise or camouflaged or anything. No, so he's like, oh yeah, I'm a homeless dude, blah, blah, blah. And then James gets like a hint of something, so he sees the bar that Mary was in, that he and Mary went to. Back in their earlier in their life. So while he goes to that, then all of a sudden the homeless man gets encountered by one of those creatures, and it turns out that he dies. Like he gets melted and everything. The gore effect, it looks pretty cool. I believe it's practical. It looks practical to me. So that looked cool. But unfortunately, he died off screen. And all you see is the rest of his dead body, so that's a little disappointing. And again, James didn't see this, the audience did, so that's why I'm wondering, is this real or not real? So again, if you never played the game, how would you know also? It just makes no sense. Anyway, so James keeps getting these flashbacks, and they show a lot more people this time around, and they show all these weird-ass people, which makes it seem like Rosemary's Baby, which we will get to. So, they show all these weird-ass people who know Mary, and so they're trying to welcome James into, their community and stuff like that. So that was weird. And then after that, he goes outside, and he saw that the homeless guy is dead, and he takes the radio because it sends up a warning every time a creature gets near him. So he takes that, and then he immediately gets transported into the other world, where there's so many of these humanoid-looking creatures that you attack in the game. And then those insect things that have like the faces in their bellies, which look pretty cool. So there was this awesome chase scene where he's running through all this, and I think it's like one of the few action sequences of the movie too. So I thought this was well done, but it did remind me so much of the first movie when I forgot the main character's name. Yeah, I totally forgot. Is it Elena or something? I don't think so. She's played by Radha Mitchell. Again, I forgot her name. I'm sorry. But that's when she was being chased by, the creatures. I think it's like the dead baby, the dead burning babies and stuff, and also the cockroach looking thingies. It's very similar to that from the first movie. I guess just done slight. I don't know. I thought the CG in the first movie held up very well. Here, you can definitely tell it's a little wonky, but again, I do like the animations of these things. And also, it kind of reminds me of that one scene from Constantine when what's it? When Constantine goes through hell and it's all like dusty with the landscape and all that stuff. So it does remind me of that too. So James was running through this, and then he eventually goes into the apartments, Woodbine Apartments, I believe that's what it's called. And again, set design is good. And he eventually sees like a figure of Mary, but it turns out that it was just a mannequin wearing her clothes, and it was covered with, I think, moths. I don't think they were butterflies. I think it was moths. And then he eventually sees this weird looking figure of a man, and then there was, his face is open and there was something inside, and that gave him a flashback of when he was in the apartments with Mary, and then it turns out that she had that in the wall the whole time, and they do talk a lot more about her father, which again, I don't believe they talk about that at all in the game. Again, maybe there's some side stuff that I haven't fully read yet. Maybe they do show more of the origins of Mary and what she did and stuff like that. But from what I can tell, she had nothing to do with that in the game, from my perspective. But for some reason, they added here. So apparently, these weird ass people are part of a cult. And the game did talk a little bit about a cult, but the game isn't really focused much on that cult. The Silent Hill 1 game and Silent Hill 3 is a sequel to Silent Hill 1, and they talked about the cult. I forgot what the cult's name, but they're trying to bring the birth of the god and all that stuff. So which is why they need Alessa, who ends up being Heather Mason in Silent Hill 3. So, but here is just weird because, again, it's supposed to be, the flashbacks ruined this for me. So, what it shows is that there's this cult, and Mary's part of it because her father is the leader of this cult, and apparently has been poisoning her all her life. And James saw this cult doing this underground satanic ritual thing when he was following them, and they went into this alleyway, and apparently they were super fast because there was this fence with some fabric over it with some graffiti and all that stuff, and they went through that quickly, and then they happened to go into this underground tunnel with this cryptic looking door, and they have to push 2 buttons in order to open it, and it was already had a dumpster on top. I was like, how the hell did they get there so quickly? Made no sense. Like, after they go downstairs, the gates just close, and then the dumpster automatically goes over it? I don't think so, because James had to move the dumpster just to even access the goddamn gate. So I don't even know how these guys went inside so quickly with him. I don't know. It's just weird to me. It makes no sense. Anyway, so there's this cult. Mary had this like gold thing on her, and then her blood is seeping, and everyone's touching it and licking it and everything. Why? Why do you have this in Silent Hill 2? And again, maybe it was a metaphor, but I don't think it was, because he's having it as a flashback. Oh, man. I don't like it. So yeah, that's everything to do with the cult, and James wants Mary to get out from the cult, but she refuses because she feels like she's locked in the Silent Hill with the cult and her father. So James decides to leave her. Yeah, James left her. So I'm like, okay. And here's the weird thing. James and Mary, they're only boyfriend and girlfriend. Not husband and wife. I had to double check the game just to make sure that I wasn't crazy. Because I was like, wait, I thought they're husband and wife. So was I wrong? No, the movie's wrong. They're only boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah. Whew, okay. So, James eventually meets up with Eddie, who is not Eddie, and Eddie is only shown for like 3 minutes. Yeah, that's it. He doesn't come back after this. So he meets up with Eddie. Eddie was throwing up, and he's talking about the crazy people in this town and all that stuff, even though he's crazy himself. So he tags along with James for a little bit because they heard a girl crying. And then James gets into that infamous hallway where the Pyramid Head comes towards. So he goes over there, sees Laura, and he tries to get Laura out of the hole. And then they hear Pyramid Head, so Eddie punches and kicks James, and then he runs away. We don't see him ever again. And Laura decides to hide back into her hole, and then Pyramid Head comes, and he crashes through the gate thing, trying to go after James. So James is running through the hallway, and he eventually sees a mannequin. This mannequin is weird. So this is not the mannequin we know from the games, because the mannequins we know from the games are like actual mannequins. They're just headless, so they are attacking with stumps and everything. And sometimes they move like spiders, like crawling on the ceiling or crawling on the walls. But this mannequin has a giant ass bouncy butt. Like, it's bouncing. And her breasts bounce as well. So you see this normal looking mannequin at first, and then her head pops off, rolls towards James, and the eyes like twitch and everything. So you hear like the jump scare music, and then all of a sudden the rest of the mannequin body ends up becoming the spider thing from The Thing. Yeah, it sprouts multiple legs, like 10 legs. And I was like, what? And the way it was designed too, like its body is upside down. So you see a lot of this bouncing ass the entire time. And it's just funny. It's just CG, gray looking Spider Woman, just with her ass and breasts bouncing everywhere. It was way too funny. It wasn't even scary. So you see this thing just bouncing and going after James, and then James hides in the closet. So this bouncing Spider Woman goes inside the room, and Pyramid Head goes inside the room as well. So it tried to attack Pyramid Head, which does nothing, and then Pyramid Head ends up killing it by punching the shit out of its ass. Seriously, it was just funny. And I don't know why they decided to do it this way, because in the games, like Pyramid Head, it's implied that Pyramid Head rapes the nurses or the mannequins. So yeah, that's supposed to represent James, but here, this guy just loves bouncing, just pounding on some ass. It was way too funny. So Pyramid Head opens the closet, and then that's when James has a giant ass headache, and that's when Pyramid Head has the same headache as well. And they showed there's a hole in Pyramid Head's head, and then once you zoom in, it shows James immediately. And I was so upset they showed this early on. I think this was like halfway through the movie, and I could not believe it. Like, this is supposed to be a twist near the end, but they decide to show this off so freaking early, as if like maybe everyone's just dumb. So after that, James sleeps, and then he wakes up, and he's no longer in the other world. So he gets out of the apartments, he chases after Laura. So they do have some similar like scenes from Silent Hill 2. Like Laura's on top of the wall with the drawings and everything. But the dialogue is slightly different, and it feels off. And it's funny how Laura is the actual voice actress of Laura from the game. But then you see this like young ass adult, like she doesn't look like a kid, so she's this grown woman. But there are a couple times they try to make her look small, so it looks like James is actually talking to a child, because they do this weird perspective, like James is like a giant and Laura's very tiny, but every time they show, try to show more of Laura, yeah, you can definitely tell that she is not a child, that she is a woman. So James tried to chase after Laura. This was around the maze thing closer to the lake. So he goes over there, and that's when he meets up with Maria. And this whole encounter, this whole interaction is 100% wrong. Maria doesn't look for James in the game. James sees Maria first. James thought Maria looked like Mary, but then he realized it's not Mary. And then that's when Maria talks a lot more. But for some reason, they fucked this up. Maria looks for James. And she's like, hey, what are you looking for? Oh, are you trying to find a way out of here? Like, Maria is supposed to be sexy. She is supposed to seduce James. She is supposed to be like a warm woman that James would definitely feel any attraction to. But here, she is cold. She is mean. She is needy. This is not Maria. Maria is supposed to seduce him. This Maria is just ignorant. She's arrogant. And oh my God, it's like the creator didn't even play Silent Hill 2. Like, why would you characterize Maria like this? Oh man. So they done Maria wrong as well. Her wig looks terrible. Her outfit looks similar to how she looks in in the games. But again, it's just the actress too. So the same actress played Mary, Maria, and Angela. Angela also. Sorry, I keep looking back and forth with lenses. So yeah, she played Angela as well, and I feel bad for this actress because she had to basically play 3 different people, and she kind of messed up on 2 of them, and I kind of don't blame her because she had a lot of to work. She had to do a lot of work, but I wish that they hired someone else for Angela at least. So she could focus on Mary and Maria, but man, Maria is done terribly in this. So James and Maria end up, they end up trying to help each other. So they go through the town of Silent Hill. There was this one encounter with one of the humanoid-looking creatures, and so they eventually go into the hospital. So the hospital section was a very weird one too, because they are fast forwarding the events of the hospital in the games. So they sped it up a lot. Like the reason why Mary was at the hospital, they showed that very quickly too, and they showed off Mary already died, and it turned out it was 4 months ago already. So yeah, I wish that they didn't have to do that. They sped through it a lot, and then eventually James went into the other world, and it's very weird because he goes into the other world, and then he tries to catch Laura because Laura knows something about Mary because Mary gave her a doll or something like that. So he knows that Laura knows where Mary is. So he chases after her, and Laura tricks him and puts him in this room. And then he eventually sees this bed, the bed monster from the game. But it's a little weird. It's a little different this time because they show like this was it Hellraiser's version of Mary with her skin peeled off and stuff like that. So it she had like 4 arms, and she's going after James and puts one of her arms into James's mouth, and then it shows him back in the real world. I guess, I don't know. It was a little confusing. I assume that it's a figment of his imagination because he comes back to Silent Hill immediately. But yeah, he I guess wakes up, and then he sees a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist tells him, oh, you should have known this, James. You shouldn't have gone there. It's been 4 months. So he's all depressed, and then he gets the flashback of him leaving Mary. So then after that, he gets the vision that about the other world, and then he goes back into Silent Hill. And at this time, oh, I'm sorry, I went forward a little bit. So there was this kind of fun sequence where James and Maria are trying to run away from the nurses. And I will say this, there were two things I like about this movie, and that it just reminds me of the gameplay segments of the game. So the first time he encountered one of the humanoid things, he grabs one of the pipes and he immediately throws it at the humanoid creature, which I was happy about. I'm like, oh, that's fun. That was not in the game though, because James cannot throw items, but I wish he can, because that would have been super useful. So then he eventually, so the humanoid creature runs off into the sewers. So eventually, when James is with Maria in the hospital, he grabs one of the wheelchair handles, and then he starts using it as a weapon, and he used it against the nurses, which reminded me so much of the game. So they're being chased by the nurses, they are in the elevator, and he keeps trying to press a button and nothing is working. So then he decides to fight off the nurses himself, and he starts killing them one by one, and I was like, okay, we're getting some fun action. I can't wait for more of this. That's the only action scene in the entire fucking movie. That's it. That's it. That's all you're getting. You want him to do a beatdown on Abstract Daddy? You're not getting it. You want him to fight off against Pyramid Head? Fuck that. You want him to fight off against Mary or Maria? Ha ha ha! Nope. That's all you're gonna fucking get. Ah. So So Maria gets stabbed by one of the nurses, and James ends up using a bandage on her, which I did giggle at. Unfortunately, he didn't use any syringes. That would have been funny. Like, oh, look at this dirty ass needle. Oh, I feel so much better. Nope, none of that. Does he even use a gun? Fuck no. Oh, man. And I don't think he didn't even grab another pipe or anything. So no other pipes, no knives, no nothing. He got nothing else in here. That's it. That's all you're getting in terms of action. So, Maria keeps telling James to leave Silent Hill with her, but at this point, I think there's still like about 30 minutes left. He doesn't give a shit about Maria. Like at all. I don't think he even cared once about her. So he just left her there like trash, and she keeps trying to tell him to leave with her, but no, he just doesn't give a shit. He was about to leave Maria in the hospital room the whole time. And the whole conversations is weird because, again, in the game, James encountered Maria because he thought that was Mary, but no, it's because she only looked like Mary. He said this out loud, and that's when Maria introduced herself as Maria. And that's when they had all those nice dialogue, nice conversations and everything. That's how it was in the game. But here, Maria didn't even introduce herself yet. She finally introduced herself pretty late. Like, oh, by the way, my name is Maria. But I know you know that I look like Mary. So it felt so awkward. It sucks. So eventually they get into this interesting segment where, because James is a painter, they go inside this like labyrinth where all the walls are covered with James' artwork of Mary. So some of them show her beautiful, some of them look a little disfigured, but they don't show too much. And I thought it's going to lead to a very interesting new sequence for made for the movie. And it ruined. It immediately got ruined. Because James doesn't want to deal with Maria anymore. He sees her as an obstacle. So he, I guess, summoned Pyramid Head. He did this. The whole screen is shaking. Then all of a sudden, Maria starts bleeding a lot because it turned out that she got impaled by Pyramid Head's sword. And that's it. That's it for Maria. Okay. And then that's when the vision kind of ends too, because he imagined himself painting a self-portrait of himself, and then all of a sudden uses red paint to make the pyramid head cage on top of himself. Great artwork, by the way, but unfortunately it just looks funny because it's him with a full-ass beard, like drinking himself to death and painting pyramid head. So, and then he wakes up and it turns out that he's across the lake already. Like, he was in the hospital, then he immediately like got into the lake, I guess, and then went all the way to the other side of the lake, and now he's at the Lakeview Terrace. And then he sees that the Lakeview Terrace is already on fire. So he goes inside, and the first thing he encounters is Laura. And Laura, for some reason, her face is morphing. Like, at one point, she looked like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and it made me laugh. So it looked very awkward. And then she's like, tell us Mary's full name. Say the full name. So I was like, where are you going with this? They showed a grave. Mary's grave. With her full name. What's her full name? Mary. Angela. Laura. Brain. That's right. Angela and Laura and Mary and Maria are the same person. Why? I don't get it. I don't like it. So they're trying to tie in Angela's story with with Mary, because Mary had a terrible relationship with her father, which is very, very abusive. But in the game, Angela's father, again, like, raped her. So she was traumatized about that, and then because of that, she could never fully escape Silent Hill. So here, I guess Angela is like the abused side of Mary. So she's imagining her father as abstract daddy. So maybe it kind of works. I don't know. But for me, it really doesn't. So you do see abstract daddy, and he looked fucking good. I liked the effect of him. He looks different from the game, but at the same time, I do like the practical effect. He looks horrifying. He honestly looks similar to the Smile monster from the Smile movies. So he looked pretty cool, but unfortunately, we only have him for 30 seconds and he's gone. Was it even a fight? No, he just shows up, slowly walks towards James, and that's it. And he dies. Abstract Daddy dies. And Angela just dies too. Like, Angela is underused in here. Like, there's another, when James ends up seeing another scene with Angela, where she's lying on the floor with a kitchen knife. Yeah, that scene was done dirty. And also, you can't, the game was really subtle with, like, the abuse that Angela went through, but here, the movie, like, again, you can't really tell. You just assume that this woman is nuts. So they did horrible with the characterization of the characters in this movie. And then eventually, James goes through the hallways that are filled with fire. Then he gets to the roof, and then he sees a body of Mary in the bed. So, what happens? He gets the final flashback, where he meets up with Mary. They don't say how long it's been. The only thing you could tell about the passage of time is that he has a full-grown beard at this point. James with a full beard. That's what we want from the game, right? So he finally sees Mary after all this time. She's been sick because she's been poisoned by her father. So, but in the game, it was cancer. But here, nope, she's been poisoned by her father. So they're happy to see each other again. She tells James to pick her up and put her on the bed, and then she tells her to kill her. She tells him to kill her, which ruins it for me, because in the game, James loved Mary to a point. When she got sick, and there's so many hospital visits and everything, he resents her. And he could not be satisfied because he had to take care of her. And he was so angry at himself and also angry at Mary. So He hates the doctor visits. He hates seeing her sick. He hates the fact that he can't have sex at all. He keeps seeing all these women, but he can't be with them, especially from the nurses. So he ends up killing her because he doesn't want to feel upset anymore. So, and because of that, he is filled with guilt, which is why he is stuck in Silent Hill, and he imagines himself as Pyramid Head killing Mary. But this movie can't even do that right. So Mary wanted James to kill her anyway. It was a mercy kill. But he felt very upset about that, and he felt like he's Pyramid Head. What? You see what I mean? Like, the ending of Silent Hill 2, when James confronts the two Pyramid Heads, he knows who he is, he knows what the Pyramid Heads are, what they represent, which is why he has to fight them to overcome himself, to overcome the guilt as well, to try to move on too. But here, it's like, nah, it's fine. Your wife wanted you to kill her because she's been poisoned and she doesn't want to feel good. She doesn't want to feel the sickness anymore. She wants to leave this earth, but she'll be happy. But he's been traumatized by that, so he sees the body of Mary becoming a moth, basically. So she has these 4 arms, I think also 4 legs too. Like her skin is peeled off and everything, so she looks like Pinhead from Hellraiser. So she welcomes James with open arms, and then he goes back into the real world of Silent Hill, and he has the body of Mary covered inside the blankets. So he takes her out of the hospital, out of the Lakeview Terrace place, and then he has his car ready right outside, even though he parked his car all the way at the rest area. It magically appeared in front of the Lakeview Terrace. I don't know how that worked. So he puts the body in there, and then we get the ending from the game, which is called In Water, which is where James commits suicide. So he drowns himself by crashing into the lake with Mary's body, and then he drowns. So I thought, oh shit, they're going to have this ending? That's very interesting. Because none of the endings of the games are ever canon. You could choose whatever you want. What I got for me on my first try was actually I think it's called the Leave ending, where Mary has her monologue, and then it shows James and Laura leaving Silent Hill for good and disappearing into the fog. That's the ending I got. My friend got the depressing In Water ending, and I think another one of my friends got the Maria ending for their first try. So, yeah, I was surprised about that. But the movie doesn't end. Right after that, it cuts back to him in the flashback opening where he almost gets hit by the bus. And then James realizes, holy shit, I'm back to this timeline. So he sees Mary, and then Mary decides to wave the bus off. And Mary was wondering if James can go to the city to drop her off, and he agrees this time. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. Mary explains that when they first met, Mary was actually trying to leave Silent Hill, but it's James's fault that she came back and stayed there. So now that James realizes this, he decides to change her fate, and decide to go to the city with her and leave Silent Hill forever. And then we get the ending music to Silent Hill 2 playing, and then we roll credits, and it shows like this credit montage of all the events from the movie, and it was done pretty well. I did like the ending montage because it's done in this really dreamlike escape. So I will say the art of this movie can be beautiful, if you can excuse the wonky CGI. But yeah, that's Return to Silent Hill, and I cannot believe it was made this way. Like, I was reading a bit of the IGN review, and they said that It did nothing new, and it was very faithful to the game. And I was like, you and I did not watch the same thing, motherfucker. It was not faithful to the game. It has a few faithful moments, but it was not faithful at all because it did the characters wrong. Again, maybe that reviewer did explain like the characters are all wrong and stuff like that, and the story elements are bad. But when you say it's faithful to the game, no, it is not. It really is not faithful to the game. And what do you mean did nothing new? It did something new with the flashbacks. It was just not good. But again, I could see why critics did not like it and audiences didn't like it. This was not good. And I am so sorry, man. I really, really wanted to like it. One of my friends has a friend who produces this and is trying to get this into more screenings, more theaters to show off this movie. And I feel so bad because this movie it's not good. It's a shame. Like, every movie deserves to be in theaters, regardless of quality, but my god, I am so disappointed in this. I was hoping that this movie would be excellent for fans of the game, but I don't think it did that right. Like, it got me so upset at so many things that it got me depressed. It's just like Welcome to Raccoon City, Resident Evil. That made so many choices and it was all wrong. But this one I felt like had bigger potential because at least it focused on Silent Hill 2. It did not focus on Resident Evil 1 and 2 with a little bit of 3 and a reference to Code Veronica in a 1 hour 40 minute long movie. This one at least focused on Silent Hill 2. But unfortunately, it didn't do as well as it should, and I am so upset about that. I'm sorry, guys. I really wished I really liked this movie, but unfortunately, no. I can't even recommend it. One of my good friends is a big Silent Hill fan, and she is finally gonna see it on Wednesday, and I feel bad for her. I do wonder if she'll like it way more than me. Because, you know, maybe she'll just like the references and understand that the rest suck. But, and this movie was not good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Later.